Welcome to the explainer. You've probably heard your orthodontist throw around terms like a class 2 bite, right? Well, today we're going to decode that language. We're breaking down the entire system they use to classify how your teeth fit together, and it's all called malocclusion. Here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at why this system even exists. Then we'll dive into the angle classification. It's been the gold standard for over 100 years. We'll break down the three main types, see how orthodontics get even more detailed, and then wrap it all up to show how it creates the blueprint for a perfect smile. Okay, let's get into it. All right, first things first, why on earth do we need such a complicated sounding system just to talk about teeth?
Yeah, that probably sounds like a completely different language, but trust me, it's not as scary as it sounds. This classification is actually the most important first step in figuring out a treatment plan. It's all about getting a crystal clear picture of the starting point.
So, at its heart, malocclusion is just the official term for a bad bite. Simple enough, but there are a million different ways teeth can be out of whack, so you need a way to organize the chaos. And that's exactly where this classification system comes in.
It really boils down to three main goals. First, it helps group similar problems together. Second, it gives all dental professionals a common language so they can communicate really precisely. And third, and this is the most important one for you, it makes planning the treatment so much simpler.
Okay, so let's get into the most famous system of all, the one that's been the bedrock of orthodontics for more than a century. So picture this, it's 1899. A dentist named Dr. Edward Angle comes up with this, honestly, brilliant idea. He realized that the relationship between our big first molars could be the key to classifying pretty much every bite problem out there. His whole theory was based on the idea that the upper first molar is a fixed point, and everything else is judged against it. It totally changed the game. So this entire huge system really just comes down to one thing: how your top and bottom first molars line up. You can think of them like two gears. For everything to work right, those gears have to mesh together perfectly. So let's start with the one you're most likely to see, class I. And when I say common, I mean really common. We're talking a massive 60 to 70% of people who need orthodontic work fall right into this category. Now, in a class 1 case, those main molar gears are actually lining up just fine. The jaws are in the right spot. So the issue isn't the foundation of the house, it's the furniture inside. The problem is with the teeth themselves. And this is where you see all those classic issues you've heard of, right? We're talking about crowding, where teeth are all jammed together, or spacing, with big gaps, or maybe you have some teeth that are just rotated or twisted out of place. Okay, but what happens when the problem isn't just the teeth, but the jaws themselves? That brings us to class 2. So a class 2 malocclusion is basically what most people call an overbite. It just means the lower jaw is sitting too far back compared to the upper jaw. And this can sometimes cause issues with chewing, and of course, it can affect your profile too. And this is fascinating. Even within class 2, there are two very different flavors. Division 1 is what you probably picture. The upper front teeth are flared out, creating that noticeable overjet. But in Division 2, the front teeth are actually tilted backward, which often leads to a really deep bite where the bottom teeth practically disappear. Now, if you go to the total opposite end of the spectrum, you get class 3. This is where the lower jaw is positioned too far forward, and this usually results in an underbite, where the bottom front teeth actually sit in front of the top ones. And again, there's a little nuance here. This can be a true skeletal thing, something that runs in the family, or it can be what's called a pseudo class 3, which is more of a habit. Someone might just push their jaw forward to get their back teeth to touch comfortably. Okay, so Angle's system is like the main framework, but orthodontists use a few other tools to get the complete picture. Let's look at how they add some more layers to the diagnosis. Think of this like checking the foundation of the house. Skeletal classification looks right past the teeth and at the jawbones themselves. Is the problem the upper jaw, the lower jaw, or maybe a bit of both? This is absolutely critical for figuring out the right way to fix it. Then they look at the canines, those sharp, pointy, cornerstone teeth. Their position acts as another reference point. It's a great way to double-check the molar relationship and get another read on how the whole bite is fitting together. And finally, they zoom right in on the front teeth. They look at how the bottom front teeth touch the back of the top front teeth. Getting this relationship just right is the key to a stable, functional bite that also happens to look great. So we've gone through all this information, all these different classifications. What does it all mean for you in the end? Well, by putting all of these different views together, your orthodontist creates this incredibly detailed blueprint for your treatment. It's not just one single label, it's a complete 3D diagnosis that literally guides every single decision they make from day one all the way to the finish line. So what used to be a bunch of confusing jargon is now a clear roadmap, right? The next time you're at the orthodontist, you'll know exactly what they're talking about. And understanding the plan is the first and maybe the most important step in your entire orthodontic journey. You're not just a patient anymore, you're a partner in creating that awesome new smile.